Hi. I've seen the question come up a few times on forums, on Twitter, where people are asking, how do you do to cut the connection with another person? Now, part of the behavior is what we call no contact. So it's going greystone, then no contact, and not being in touch with the person. It still can be tricky, and as someone was pointing out on Twitter, which is the reason why I'm doing this video, sometimes we get the intuition the person is going to contact us, and then they contact us out of the blue, and that can be really strange and really uncanny. Now, there are a few explanations about this. Some are more or less, let's say, esoterical. But anyway, here's an exercise to do that helps, strangely enough, seems to help. I say this empirically, seems to help cut the emotional connection with other people, with former partners. I'd say it's empirical. To me, the only thing that matters is, does it work or not? Why it works, how it works, I really don't care about. As long as it's working, it's working. Therefore, there is a benefit. So it's not very complicated. And this is what you do. So the first thing you do is you breathe deeply and close your eyes. When I say breathe deeply, breathe in your nose and out your mouth. Breathing deeply is not just going, it's really breathing in deeply, first of all with the stomach and then with the chest. So you first fill your stomach and then your chest. Then you keep the air a little bit and then you empty your chest and then your stomach. So you breathe deeply a few times. When you've done it 2 or 3 times, so you still have your eyes closed, you imagine the other person, the former partner. You imagine the person standing in front of you, and you look for a thread that goes between your navel, your belly button, to theirs. You look for the thread and see how thick it is. If it's a small thread, if it's a big rope. Just visualize that. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. So now you visualize it. And what you do is you take your left hand and you stretch your left hand as far out as possible and you hold onto this thread. And you're holding onto the thread with your left hand. And with your right hand, you make a scissor gesture. And between your hand and the other person, you cut. And you keep cutting until the thread is cut. And you hold onto it with your left hand. So keep cutting, keep cutting. And once the thread is cut, with your left hand, keep holding it, you take it, and you move it back, behind your navel, and you hold it there. And you keep breathing. Just keep breathing. You can actually, so in principle, this is enough to make a big difference in terms of the dynamics. There is something else you can do, which is also say, let me get this right, it's something along the lines of, I thank you for everything you have brought to me, and I forgive you for everything you have done to me, and now I let you go. And I go my own way. And I think that's pretty much it. And usually when we do that, that also cuts another emotional connection. It also, with the second bit, that also involves having some form of gratitude that can be extremely difficult to feel, especially if the other person was dishonest, was a liar, and hurt us. So one thought to have there, and a few thoughts. One of them is, as long as we are angry and hurt and upset, we're maintaining a connection with the person, and we want to let go of that. But the other thing is, whatever the person did in the past, that's in the past. Whatever the person did contributed to making you who you are today. Without what had happened, you wouldn't be you. Not 100%. You don't know how things would be different. So it doesn't mean being grateful for the pain and the suffering and the gaslighting. It means being grateful for being who you are today and just letting go. Just letting go of it. The first exercise with the thread or the rope that we cut, that's already massive. And that's easy to do because it's just doing the exercise. You don't need to think about the gratitude bit. If you want to do the extra layer of gratitude of being grateful and letting go, then it's even more effective. But start already with this. Start with it. You can do it for however many ex-partners you had. The people who taught it to me said every time that there's an intimate relationship with someone, there's a thread of energy that gets created. So the more people you've been intimate with, the more threads there are. And they're not necessarily very thick, but it's a factor of how many there are, how thick they are, and that drains our energy somehow. So it's a good idea to cut this off and keep the energy for ourselves and for our current relationship.